Good evening sports fans, and welcome back to the HCM YouTube channel. So today, as you've seen from the thumbnail, we're putting, or at least mocking up, the K20 and the gearbox into the Dakar. So it's about to go in, and all we need to do is just basically get the mounts in position, or at least have a look where the mounts are going to sit, get a good idea of where the drive shaft's going to sit, and generally get a good feel for it. I know there's already been a couple of guys that have done this conversion, so they've already done the K20 and the gearbox. But I want to do it my own way and make it look a bit neater. Yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get into it, get the bonnet open, get the car jacked up, and get the engine underneath. We've currently got Yaka in the background. Bop. 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 So the Odyssey that you've seen before is now sold. It's gone. So do the final clean, get a good clean out, get it ready for the new owner. So, bop. So we're going to jump straight onto the time lapse and get cracking with this, get the bonnet off, get the bumper off, and get the subframe out. So we know we need the subframe is going to need to be modified because of the different sump between this and the F series engines for the Renault ones. So yeah, with that being said, let's get it done. So just before Yak's Odyssey decides to disappear, I managed to pinch the plate just to make it look a bit more JDM. So you've got the JDM plate on the front of the DAC. Let me know in the comments if you like it or not. I think it looks pretty cool. It's just a bit of a JDM touch. It's not a permanent fixture because over here in the UK you can't run these plates anyway. So, but yeah, let's stop goating about and actually get on with it. So let's crack on. Right, sports fans, you'll see we're undercover now. So this is Botswana 2. So seeing as Zimbabwe we don't have it anymore, so we've had to resort to getting a gazebo. So it's a 3x3 meter jobber. So it's like 8 foot pretty much. So it's just enough to work around the car and under shelter. And as it proves, like the good old British weather, so it decided to absolutely tip it down. So yeah, so good job. Good job, we've got this little pop-up gazebo and it does the job and it keeps everything dry. So we're here and we've got the K20 lowered in, and yeah, the eagle-eyed amongst you will probably see that it's a silver rocker cover. It's not a poverty spec K20, it's actually a K20A2, and you might not be able to see it, but there's your little plaque. There we go, you're just about to see it, K20A2. Yeah, so we're running the RRC inlet manifold. So that's off the FD2 Civics. K-tune throttle body adapter, so we're using the standard EP3 throttle body. We're going to blank this off because this is for the fly-by-wire throttle bodies. And currently we've got it's a bit of a mismatch gearbox. So it's a EP3 bell housing and an FN2 casing. It's basically, it's an empty casing. So it's a lightweight thing so we can move it about and mock up properly. So this is off a Rory, so this is his jobber. Yeah, so this rock cover, obviously it's silver now because I've had to pinch it off the K24, and that's in there. You can just about see it, end of my finger. Because I'm painting the other one, it means I need to have something on so I can properly mop things up. And got the mount on there, so that was painted before, so I'm getting a good tart up. As you can see, nothing else is painted, so it will be once all this mocking up's been done. These are K-swap mounts, so these are eBay jobbers, and you see there, EK, and it's basically K-swap. So these are for the EG as well. So basically my plan is to use these K-swap mounts, so in a typical Honda fashion, and basically do what the Group A cars did and remove this turret, because one, I don't really like it, and two, I just think it would be better using that strategy. But yeah, this is part of the K-swap kit. Again, eBay job. So it's full kit, comes with a rear mount as well, but we don't really need to use a rear one. we'll do something different. But yeah, this top mount, again, mount it in Honda fashion, so somewhere around here. But what we have to do is trim like some of the chassis leg. So depending on how high we're going to mount the engine, so I want to keep it as low as possible for centre of mass. Yeah, so, and plus I don't really want to eat into this too much. But whatever I take out the bottom here is then going to be added on top, or strengthened using the mount. So when the mount's here, I'm going to tie that into here. For the rear mount, I'm just going to use something very similar to what the Renaults do, and it's just a mount that sticks off the bottom of the gearbox, back of the gearbox, to a dog bone mount, which this is a subframe, so it's a Williams 3 subframe, same as 1 and 2s, and they have like a gusset thing here. But yeah, the rear mount, it'll go to that, or something similar, whatever works with the manifold. It's a 182 manifold, so it's a 4-2-1 manifold, and what we're going to have to do is just change the manifold flange, so the flange that goes to the head. So I've got a K20, well basically a K-series flange, so I'm just going to chop this one off, space these out correctly, and match that to this exhaust. And then this end, I'm a bit unsure right now, I don't know whether to do a 2.5 inch or a 3 inch. So either way, that flange will be cut off and put a V-band on. So all I need to do right now is basically get that manifold in here and see where the manifold sits, and basically try and get the manifold to replicate where it was on the Renault engines. That's my plan, that's what I'm going to do. And basically just keep as many Renault parts as possible, apart from that top engine mount, and obviously a bit of chopping. So I've got on the way a EP3 radiator. So EP3 being a Civic Type R, like 2002 to 2006, maybe a little bit earlier than that, but it's a bigger radiator than what came on these standard. And I dare say once the radiator's in, I'll probably have to just maybe notch some of these areas just to make it sit a bit better. And I'll certainly have to modify, well, I did this before, but certainly have to modify this tray where the radiator sits. So again, it's a bit wider. So that'll come in like next episodes. But again, I'm still waiting for that. So it's a Mission Moto radiator that's coming, and a slimline fan. So yeah, I'm really excited, and really excited with how it looks right now. So it's sat roughly around it needs to go, the body itself, so I've been lowering the body on top of the engine, but I'm limited with how far the engine can go up because of the chassis leg in this part here. I've had a look at the floor, and the floor in comparison to the sump is pretty level right now, because at the end of the day I don't want it to self-clearance itself. I want it to sit well and look as though it's come out of the factory like that. The plan is not to run power steering, so run a manual rack, so either the steering rack I've already got on there, or use the power steering rack and blank it off. But either way, it's not going to be power steering. It saves messing about with pulleys and running a basic hydraulic system. So on the K24s, it runs the hydraulic system at the top, same as the K20As, but on the K20A2s out of the EP3, they run an electric power steering. So again, you don't have a pump. So it suits me for this. Again, this build, this is going to be essentially a road car, road street car, a bit of a fun car. It will see some tracks, it will go to Nürburgring. But the predominant thing is that the Williams is going to be the K24 car, and will be the proper track car, a dedicated track car. So again, this is a road terror. This is going to be designed to upset some people and make some VTECs, and yeah, so can't wait. So what I'm going to do is off up this manifold, so get it on there and see what it's like and see how it sits. Right, sports fans, we're still at it, and the engine's pretty much in place. I think it might need to go up a tad more, but as we discussed previously. But we bolted in the manifold, so you can't see from here, but there. So this is the 182 manifold, and what I've done is use some big spacers. So essentially use the Honda bolts or the Honda nuts on the studs with some big spacers. And you can just about see just down here. So I bolted that in place. So it's roughly in position, and we've managed to get the clearance from the VTEC solenoid from the master cylinder. So obviously people who are doing left-hand drive conversions, you won't have that problem. So you'll be able to shove this bit further back. So yeah, we've got a bit of a height difference between this mount and the top of this. So some of them are showing to be flush, but this is quite a bit lower. I'd say it's good, like 40mm lower. Maybe 40mm lower, you can just about see it. And as for the manifold, as for the manifold, you can just about see how it sits. So clearly the sump angle and of the K20 and the F4R are quite a bit different. So even if we raise up the engine by 30-40mm, we've still got quite a bit of overhang on there. So we need to essentially turn this manifold from being at this angle sort of upright a little bit more. So I'm going to do that by tweaking the flange. So cut this flange off, so we've got to cut it off anyway, and just tweak the manifold just to sit further up. And you can see just about in the tunnel that we've got quite a bit of room still. If you get these pipes out of the way, so you can see there's quite a bit of room there. Yak just arrived with the Odyssey Beast. So doing a quick oil change before it goes, and yeah, so stay tuned and we'll be back here tomorrow. Good evening sports fans, and welcome back and happy 2021. So it's been a while. We went away for Christmas, come back, and to be fair, I didn't really do any updates on the Dakar since, because it's been absolutely freezing. So as you saw in the last bit, that we had the marquee up outside. Well, the marquee is done for, it's gone. So it's just sat here on top of here. The wind had it, it was freezing, wind blew, and it flipped over and it's now gone. So it sort of stopped play. So the actual plan is they actually insulated the inside of the garage, which has been taking quite a bit of time. So the inside of the garage looks estate, which it actually is, but inside use some expanding foam and put some weather strips on the garage door. So it's actually going to keep me nice and warm when I actually put this car inside of here. So the overall plan is to actually stick the Williams outside. So it does actually need a bit of work to protect it. It's actually still in metal, in bare metal. So it needs to be a bit more sealed, but it'll be alright, it'll be fine. So actually, let me show you some updates. We actually did some updates. I'll tell a lie, I'll fib in. So we actually removed this engine mount. So you saw at the start of the episode that I was mentioning that I didn't really like this engine mount. I wanted to do something that was very like the Group A style. So cut that off, and we're actually going to put a Honda type mount on this. So we're going to put a fork here, which will sit quite nicely. All this will be painted, it'll be sorted, it'll be nice and clean. This side, we've gone full Honda. So yeah, as you saw in the last bit, that the chassis leg was being cut out. So I've cut that out, and it's actually all boxed back in again now. So that's double skinned, and it's pretty much exactly how it was done out the factory. It's just crept quite a bit further in. And then keeping with the Honda theme, so I used a Honda fork with some adjustability in it, some reinforcement, and it's actually welded to the turret. So you can just about see from the top, it's welded down the side here to the turret. So yeah, I think it'll look quite standard, quite OEM, so I'm quite happy with that. So doing that bit, actually say that, one sec. So here's engine mount. So it's a modification to the K-swap mounts I bought from an EG. So keeping the EG base, just slimmed it down ever so slightly, made it a bit better, a bit more efficient on weight, and made the box section to go over the top. So if you've got a good vision, but it'll sit like that, and it'll use the Honda Civic EG mount to tie it all together. So it's now January, and like I said, it's absolutely freezing. So we've had like below freezing temperatures here, and I don't really fancy working outside. And plus, the marquee doesn't actually give you any insulation. So yeah, so trying to get the garage warm, get it prepped, and get this car in there. But we've done a good few purchases as well. So Bearing in mind this car is still going to be a road car, like I mentioned earlier, and the Williams is going to be the proper track car. But I've actually bought a roll cage for it. And second-hand roll cage, it's an OMP 6-point bolting cage. So, put it in here. I've actually managed to wedge it in the Williams. Excuse the mess, but it's in here. I've taped it in. I've put it in here just for safekeeping. But yeah, it's a 6-point bolting cage with all the fittings, so it bolts in together here. And with a, if you can make it out, it's got a bit of a cross member. Where it is. Here we go. So we've got a cross member for it. So as the whole world has come to a stop, including ourselves, we're currently on lockdown here in the UK, and we can't really go anywhere unless you have to go shopping, and that's food shopping. If you want to go anywhere else, you get told off. So yeah, because of all the car scene, that's pretty much stopped. The like the events like Caffeine and Machine, for example, Santa Pod, everything like that has stopped. So there is actually events starting up quite soon, which we're targeting March. So like I said, it's January now, and there's an event at MIMS, the MIMS Honda show, and I messaged guys at MIMS before, and they were quite happy for Renault to attend, actually properly attend. And I took it previously when it had a Renault engine and upset a few Honda faces. But yeah, so I'm actually going to attend this year with a K20 in, and the idea is that's the deadline to get this build done. So we're looking middle of March. I'll get the exact date and put it underneath. But yeah, we're looking middle of March, and that's when the car's going to be done for. So it's going to be ready, driving, MOT'd, whatever, it's all ready, providing the show goes on. So as The Rock says, the show must go on, and it will. This car will get built, and the other one also will get built. So they're both going to get built, and they'll both be done for 2021 at different phases. So there's no excuse now. So yeah, so stay tuned, and thanks again for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button here below. Also hit the little bell symbol, see my face come up again. So I look forward to hearing from you soon. Drop a comment below if you like what we're doing, and if you want to see anything different. Cheers, sports fans. Mowgli. Mowgli. Wow! Hello, kid. Come on, let's go.